Like this guy is John McCain. He ran for president 4 years ago, and what they're basically trying to say in this video is that John McCain is older than basically everything, and then they're trying to make fun of that. So we're going to play one more time and just take a look. So you notice how they use black and white. He's older than Keith Richards, he's older than AARP, he's older than Cheerios, he's older than Spam, he's older than Dick Cheney, and he's older than duct tape. So basically they're trying to make fun of John McCain because he's older than all of these things. So that's basically the gist of the video. So basically they're saying he couldn't do the job of being president because basically they thought he was just too old to be considered for the job.
I don't think there's any residents living here as young as 72.
She said she didn't think anyone living here that's 72. That's that young.
So now the card and the commercial are two examples of ageism, which we haven't defined yet, but we'll define in the future. But a lot of people, they probably compare the card to the video. A lot of people will take more offense with the video because the images are very showy and they're very elaborate, and I guess people think they would react more to that video. But when you're talking about the culture of a country, it's usually the subtle things that really stand out. It's usually the subtle things that really define what the culture is all about. So for me, I find the most dangerous example of ageism to be the birthday card, because the birthday card is supposed to be non-threatening, sort of innocuous, but the images that are put in that usually non-threatening form of expression is really, really hurtful and more dangerous because it's on a birthday card and it's not really out there. It's supposed to be more subtle. So subtlety is really what defines a culture, even though they're both, one is showy and one is not very showy. The card is a subtle and potent symbol of a culture that views aging in a very negative way. And when you view aging in a negative way, it's called ageism. Now, what is ageism? Ageism is basically discrimination against people who are older. And it's sort of like racism or sexism, but it's sort of different in a way too. It was first coined by Dr. Robert Butler, who was a gerontologist and psychiatrist. He died in 2010, but he was the first one to coin the term in 1969. So the actual coinage of ageism is very new, and we're still in the incipient stages of trying to study it. But it's something that's been going on for centuries, and it's something that we're going to have to fight just as much as ageism or racism, because it's just as hurtful as ageism, sexism, and racism. Now, there are 4 types of ageism. There's personal ageism, institutional ageism, intentional ageism, and unintentional ageism. Now, personal ageism refers to ideas, attitudes, and beliefs, and practices that one exhibits towards an older person. So basically, you have a conscious knowledge that you have a negative feelings towards people who are older. Now, personal ageism is manifested in a variety of ways, and some examples of this are physical abuse, stereotyping, and exclusion of older people from activities because of personal ageist views. Now, institutional ageism is ageism practices that take place within the workplace or an organization. And this is manifested through forced retirement of people who are a little bit older, denial of participation in clinical trials, and evaluating older people on a cost-benefit basis analysis. So basically you're saying that the older a person gets, the less value they have in an organization monetarily. Now, intentional ageism is basically a person tries to take advantage of another person because of their age. So a person may see an older person walking down the street and think that, okay, this person is older, so I can take advantage of this person. And this manifests itself through financial scams, which is really, really big. Those over-the-phone scams are like pretty popular. I've heard a lot of people talk about those. Refusing job training to older people, and marketing and media stereotypes as well. And unintentional ageism is what I like to call unconscious ageism. So you have ageist tendencies, but you don't really know that you have it. It's sort of in the back of the mind, but it's not really conscious, like personal ageism or intentional ageism. So it usually comes out when you don't really expect it. And if you're not really looking out for it, you won't really know when you exhibit these sort of tendencies. And it's exhibited through idioms in the media. Environmental considerations are not taken into account for older people, and a lack of procedures to assist older people in organizations. Now, we can exhibit ageism in a lot of ways, and it's not just young people who exhibit ageism towards older people. Sometimes older people exhibit ageism towards each other. So it's not really confined to one group of people practicing against another group of people. So now that we've discussed preliminary about a little bit about ageism, can anybody talk about the time when they think they've been discriminated against because of their age? Can anyone recount the time that they felt like someone has put them down because they're older, or maybe if they're younger? Yes.
Yes, a number of years ago, I had gone back into my profession, which was nursing, after not having worked for about 20 years. And I found that I had a lack of certain things that had happened in the meantime. So I tried to find some way to update my knowledge and skills. And I determined that I needed to go back to school. Now, I was over 60 at that time. And so I wrote to the University of Colorado Health Sciences Center and asked them for a catalog, and they gave it to me. And then I went up for a meeting, talked to someone up there in the department and the nursing division, and they asked me to come up for an interview. And it turns out that they advised me that that enrolling in a PhD program would be the ideal way to go, because I could use it to any classes that I would go to that I felt I had some shortcomings in because of that period I hadn't worked for so long.
Yes.
But they really advised me not